My writing career actually began um, my second semester, or actually my third semester at UMass. I had originally planned on pursuing a career in accounting, but unfortunately I wasn't able to complete that because I wasn't able to keep up with some of the courses. So I had to change directions. At first I thought about getting into social work, getting a sociology degree. Then I met I met someone named Rick Scott Gordon and another gentleman, uh, Willie Stokes, and so the two of them. Willie Stokes, he's actually a track coach right now at the high school. His Muslim name is Malazamuddin. So anyway, through those two people, Rick Scott Gordon, who everyone calls Ujamaa, I became, involved in writing poetry because uh, of Willie Stokes, and writing because of Ujamaa. Ujamaa was he and another young man were running this magazine out of New Africa House called Grassroots. And so I walked into the office one day and asked them if they would, want me to write something for them. And they said, sure. So I started writing, articles for them. And eventually, I came to be an editor of the paper and stayed on staff until my next to last semester at UMass. And so from there, I just kept writing poetry and getting them published. I'm sending them to um, poetry magazines and things of that nature. And I got some published. I've self-published some volumes of poetry. I worked some jobs that were unrelated to writing, in order to get myself on financial footing so I could write full time. And so in 2007, I was able to do that. And so I quit working a steady job to concentrate on my writing career. And I since wrote a novel called Alexandra, which is out in paperback. And and right now I'm working on short stories, and which I intend to publish at some point. Michael Thelwell was at the top of the list because he was right here at UMass, so he was someone who I could reach right out to. Of course, my professors, my English professors, they inspired me because they graded my papers, you know, and so and then I had the I was fortunate enough to meet James Baldwin and interview him, and that was made possible by Mike Thelwell. He got me an interview with him, and I interviewed him. Most thing I remember about James Baldwin is that he's such a warm and gentle person. I don't think he has a malicious bone in his body. He's just this really nice person. I mean, that was the impression I got the time I spent with him interviewing him. He was just a nice person and very inspiring, very nurturing. Being a writer, he was very nurturing, encouraging me to, continue my writing and whatnot. And of course, I've read many of the authors, Afro American authors, from Toni Morrison, right down to Alice Childress. Actually, I saw Alice Childress uh, speak at Amherst College when she was here. I think it was in the '70s, my '70s or '80s. So I didn't take any of their style or their technique in my own writing, but just the mere fact that they were accomplished writers led me to, believe in my own, the possibilities of my own self becoming a writer. Whenever Stokely was speaking in this area, either at Amherst College or UMass, Michael Thel was always the go-between because he'd always be there when he spoke. Emicon told me a story about meeting and actually being his guide. He Stokely didn't know the area, so Thelwell asked him to escort, Kwame around. He said that he escorted him around. Never really met, Stokely, but I always, whenever he was around, I was, if I had a chance, I would always go check him out because I was a journalist too. So I would like write a story about what he said and stuff. My creative process is quite simple. I start with a single. I start with an idea, and then I let it take me wherever it wants to go. And I got that idea from a very famous writer. Listening to him interview, and so I've stuck with it, and it seems to work. Oh, the top three people most influenced my life. Right at the top of the list has got to be my mom because without her I wouldn't be here. Um, Academic wise, I would say uh, I would say I would have to say Thelwell. I'd say Mike Thelwell. He really helped me out as a writer. Matter of fact, he helped me get my degree. By steering me in the right direction. Through that maze of classes and just friends, people I've met in life. People who I admire and respect. You know, um, have gone a long way to helping me become a man, becoming a good citizen, and becoming a good friend. I think the top achievements Afro Americans, um, it has to be our heroes and sheroes from the past. From Mary McLeod Bethune, going all the way back to Harriet Tubman and people like that, and in current times, during my lifetime as a youth, Dr. Martin Luther King, Ralph Bunche, James Farmer, people like that, who put their lives on the line trying to get justice and equal rights for Afro Americans, and not only that, for women and for other people who have a difficult time, trying to live happy and productive lives. The the thing that I'm most proud of about anything else is the fact that I'm so at peace with myself and my relationship to other people uh, and in the world. I think it's how you how you treat people. Is the most important thing. You know, Above all else, and not only how you treat yourself, because if you treat yourself nice, and you treat other people nice, that is like the nirvana, of being happy. I mean, how can you be sad, and how can you be upset or angry if you try to love everyone else, and you love yourself. So I think that's the most important thing for me. That's my most important achievement. You know, being able to rise to that level, you know, of perfect peace in mind, body, and soul. Oh, of course. Yes, you have to be religious. You have to believe in something. You have to have faith. That things are going to work out, because sometimes things get very, very dark. And you really need faith. To hold on to hope that things will turn out okay. I grew up Baptist, but I went to other churches too. When I was a youngster, my mother would send me to church with my aunts, uh, my cousins, adults. They would take me to church with them. So I got very steeped in church. And we also, me and my brother, my older brother, we used to be counseled by the preacher of of our church where we went to, a Reverend Bagley. So I've always been connected to the church and been connected to, to faith.